But other than that, and in the meantime, we will go to the phones and we will talk to Jim from Arundecoit, New York. Hiya, Jim. What's up?
What's up? Well, I have a Geek Squad contract, and a couple of weeks ago they tried to fix something, and before they left, they did a so-called cleanup. And since that time, every time I go to Google, New York Times, Washington Post, Facebook, Amazon, and when I sign up for a new Zoom class, it doesn't have my name and address on it, and every one of these things has a notice in the upper right to log in. Now, your first caller mentioned this term autofill, and I was wondering if since all these problems are consistent, if it's an autofill problem, and how can we fix it? Is that something I can fix, or is that too complicated?
Relog into everything. It sounds like they deleted your autofill list, and so now you have to relog into everything, and when it asks if you want to remember, you say yes.
I tried that, but that doesn't work.
Maybe they turned off autofill?
That could be. What browser are you using?
Thunderbird. Mozilla.
Firefox?
Yes, Firefox, yes.
Okay. I think
it's one of those links I already pushed, how to manage your autofill.
In the menu bar in Firefox, select Preferences, then the Privacy and Security panel, and you can scroll down to Forms and Autofill, and then you can put a check mark next to those, and it'll remember and autofill your forms and addresses.
Okay.
So there is a theoretical privacy violation of that autofill. Someone else walking up to your computer can log into your sites without you being there. Mm-hmm. And if you sync your Firefox preferences to your Firefox account, if someone gets in your Firefox account, they have all your usernames and passwords. But that's not usually something,
especially if it's
a
home computer.
Yeah, unless you run a top secret agency and people are targeting you anyway.
Or unless you keep you take your laptop to a coffee bar and then walk away.
Yeah.
Or take it to work, and have it next to on your desk and that for your own personal use versus your computer at work.
Right. So at least there are security issues that you need to be aware of, and only you can decide if they are a problem or not.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Yeah. It is great that the Geek Squad does a cleanup of his system. It's not great that they didn't explain to him the ramifications and give him an opportunity to say no to some things.
What were they cleaning?
Right. Obviously, you want to clear out your temp file. Obviously, it is not obvious that you want to clear out your trash because apparently some people put things in the trash to keep.
Yeah. Where'd my trash go? Well, we emptied it.
It's trash.
That's why it's called trash. It's
but they store
something you delete.
Also, the idea behind trash is with most modern operating systems, when you throw something in the trash, it is marked as deleted. So going back to find it, you may find that it has been overwritten because that space has been freed up.
Yep.
So depending on, let's say you you put a file in the trash because that's where you want to keep it. Then you add a couple of hundred songs to your system. It is very likely when you go back to the trash to find that thing you saved in the trash, it's no longer there because it was marked as deleted and therefore the space was available. And so when you added all those programs or pictures or songs, that overwrote the file that you were so carefully saving in the trash. This is why there are folders. You make a folder that says do not delete or save me or I actually want this, and then you put those things in that folder, not in the trash.
I have one that says almost trash.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I want to delete it, but
there
I'm not quite sure yet.
Hey, that's better than the trash and somebody coming along and emptying it.
Yep. So yeah, you can do. I threw a bunch of backups away the other day because the reality is, if I back up my website and then change something drastically, I don't need the old backup anymore. At least I don't need the 6 backups ago.
Right. Maybe the
Anymore.
past 2.
Right. So I deleted a bunch of those, and they were, 10 meg, 15 meg, 20 meg each. And I thought, well, all right, why don't we just
Free up some space.
And I did, and because when I throw something in the trash, I want it gone.
I was digging through my work computer the other day, and I found there's a terabyte of old security cam video from 2017.
Okay.
Do I need to keep that? I don't know. I think I will.
You think you should, but you can always offload it somewhere.
Yeah, I can put it on another drive somewhere.
Right.
But
So
most likely not.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. Sometimes we'll look through the old pictures looking for something, and we see how the store has been rearranged or changed. We used to have our sales desk right in the center of the floor.
Right. I remember that.
Yep, and then moved it back to the one edge, and it's weird. And I found some of the early pictures when we were building it, the early construction.
Oh, nice.
Just an empty shell, and we were painting the concrete floors and.
Yeah. A number of years ago, I found a bunch of pictures I had taken when they rebuilt the whole front of the Saunders College of Business, and I put them on the drive for Dave, who eventually got my job, and I took them off my machine. I don't need them. What am I going to do with them? So, yeah. But that's the sort of thing, folks, that you need to be aware of where when you throw something in the trash, you better mean it. Don't save things in the trash, particularly if you have someone do a cleanup of your system. They may well delete your trash and clear out your history, all your temp files, all that stuff.
Well, that's where Steve's idea, like just mark a folder, almost trash.
Yeah.
And just put it in there. From there, you can always move to the trash if, you don't go in there and use that for, say, the next 6 months. Then it can go to trash.
Well, then you got, oh, wait, what was this again? Why did I put it here?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
When I throw something in the trash, it is something I absolutely want to get rid of. And in fact, I know I don't have to empty the trash because as time goes on and I fill my drive,
It empties itself.
they will be removed.
Yeah. One of the things we frequently run into is people that misunderstand what a backup drive is for, that they'll back up like their photos and then delete them from the original drive to make room. Well, now they're not backed up. You only have one copy. You don't
Right.
you want to have a backup copy, 2 copies, just in case.
Right.
Or remember the old days, though, when folks would sit there and divide a hard drive?
Yeah.
And then they'd format it and then wonder why all their photos and everything else are gone.
Right.
Well, I put it on the other part of the drive. No, you formatted the whole drive.
Right.
Yep.
I put it on the D drive. No, the D drive was just a partition on the C drive. And when you formatted the C drive,
The
it went.
number of times
Oh, yeah.
we ran into that, it was unbelievable.
But nowadays, honestly, folks, I'm going to take a few of you to task here. There is no reason not to have lots and lots of backups. You can automate it with 100 million programs if you don't like writing your own. You can find a billion places that are either free or ludicrously inexpensive. What is it, $2 for 100 meg or on some of the services, $2 a month?
Yeah, I think Apple is $3 for 200 gigs.
Yeah.
Google's about the same.
Yeah. So,
And a hard drive, terabyte hard drive.
Terabyte, yeah, I was going to say
Really
it.
cheap, yeah.
A terabyte hard drive is so dirt cheap, and the enclosures, it's to the point you should get a couple
It's weird.
and alternate.
Western Digital makes really good hard drives. They're one of the better, well-known hard drive brands.
right.
Their external hard drives in the plastic enclosures seem to be crap. They fail all the time.
Yeah.
So we love internal Western Digital hard drives, and we hate external Western Digital hard drives. So we usually go with Seagate or LaCie, which LaCie is owned by Seagate now.
Right.
So that's the other major hard drive manufacturer, and a lot of times you get 2 or 3 of these drives and rotate among them. So every week you put a drive in your FireSafe, your data-ready FireSafe.
Exactly.
Because FireSafes that will protect papers won't necessarily protect hard drives. It's going to be data ready. and then just keep rotating it because you never know when you're going to need that file back.
128 gig micro SD card, $30. Mm-hmm. Come on, people.
Well, my SSD...
And that's more than enough for documents. If you have a lot of photos or videos, you might need more. But
absolutely.
documents...
For that, you buy that inexpensive but absolutely workable external hard drive.
Yeah.
You get yourself a Raspberry Pi. I know this is exactly what you were just going to say.
No, I was going to say, right now, hooked up to my Raspberry Pis, I have SSD terabyte hard drives.
Yes.
And they are they're about as big as a credit card.
Yep.
Just a little bit thicker, but they're terabyte. Hello. They come with their own cable that you can hook them up to a USB port. There's no reason. They're fast. No moving parts.
Well, in USB 3, they're fast. But you don't care. You don't care if they're slow on a USB 2.
You're backing up data.
That's
right.
You
do have to leave the computer on long enough. We find a lot of people bring their laptops in, and the backup status is waiting to complete first backup. You didn't leave it on long enough to do that first backup.
First backup takes forever.
Yeah.
The following backups, you're just either adding
incremental.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't have to. But the first one, be prepared to leave it on at the very least
just
overnight.
leave it. Do it. Start it at night before you go to bed. Probably by the next day, you got to get up and go to work anyways. Just leave it running until you get home that evening, and then it'll be done.
We see a lot of people leave the computers on, but with a laptop, they'll close the lid. Well, that puts it to sleep, and it may not back up.
Right.
Some of the later Mac OSs have a nap feature.
Right.
When the lid is closed and it's asleep, it will wake up a little bit to do your backup.
Which is why you always run out of battery by Saturday.
Yeah.
That's the reason. But yeah, so you really want to be aware that there's just no substitute for good backups. And yeah, when I do pCloud, for example, which is a cloud-based backup, the first time I did it, particularly at network speed, I'm on Greenlight, but in general, particularly at network speed, it's going to take a very long time. But after that, it's either one file or one replaced file. And I'm done.
Yeah.
It's super easy,
quick,
super fast.
And if you have all it takes is for your system to crash once.
No, that's not true. I've known people who've crashed 2 and 3 times and still don't have backups. Doggone it.
Then I don't feel sorry for them.
They want us to do the data recovery again. Well, what happened to the hard drive we gave you last time? Here it is in the sealed box.
Yeah. All right, that music tells us that you have wasted an entire hour of your life with this nonsense, but oh boy, are you lucky. There's a whole nother hour of the longest running computer show in the known universe coming. That's right, it's Sound Bytes. We're going to have Dave Enright, we're going to have Steve Ray, and we're going to have me, Nick Francesco. And we're going to have all of you. You can give us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Or toll free at 1-800-790-0415. We can talk about Windows 365 in the cloud. We can talk about your backups. We can talk about anything you want to talk about. And we'll be doing that for a whole nother hour. So take a quick bio break. I know I'm going to. And then come on back and we'll all have a little chat. You are listening to Sound Bytes on the truly great member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Computer talk you can understand. More Sound Bytes is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
WGMC Greece Rochester, a public service of the Greece Central School District, Jazz 90.1.
Online at jazz901.org.
NBC News Radio, I'm Cameron Fairchild. The first case of COVID-19 is reported at Tokyo's Olympic Village. Organizers say an overseas visitor to the village has tested positive for the virus. The CEO of Tokyo 2020 says it was someone involved in organizing the games, and that person is now in quarantine outside the village. Facebook is rejecting President Biden's claim it's killing people by allowing coronavirus misinformation on its platform. Facebook says it will not be distracted by accusations which are not supported by facts. Another blistering heat wave is hitting the western United States. Triple-digit temperatures are expected across the mountain states and into Canada starting today, with record highs possible through Monday in parts of Idaho, Montana, Utah, and Wyoming. I'm Cameron Fairchild, NBC News Radio.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded.
So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media.
Many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Because when you talk, they hear you.
Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Here's your invitation to join Jazz 90.1 and save. With the Jazz 90.1 member card, you get 2 meals for the price of one at restaurants locally and across the nation. Dine at dozens of local restaurants and save money, all while supporting Jazz 90.1. Just use your member card a few times and you'll easily recoup the cost of your membership. Ready to become a member of Jazz 90.1? Call 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299 today and become a member of Jazz 90.1.
This program is presented by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Obesity is a major public health problem in the U.S. Nearly 1 in 5 young people between the ages of 2 and 19 has obesity. Unfortunately, children with obesity are likely to become adults who struggle with their weight. Obesity in adults is associated with heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Children with obesity are more likely to suffer from depression and low self-esteem. Developing healthy habits early in life can help prevent obesity. Eat a diet high in fruits and vegetables, drink water instead of sweetened beverages, and get regular physical activity. These are the most effective ways for children and parents to maintain a healthy weight. Thank you for joining us on A Minute of Health with CDC.
For the most accurate health information, visit cdc.gov or call 1-800-CDC-INFO.
From beautiful blooms to vegetables and everything in between. Join me, Melinda Myers, and listen to Melinda's Garden Moments to find out how you can become an expert gardener right in your own backyard.
Thursdays at 1:40 p.m. and Sundays at 11:40 a.m. Only on members-supported Jazz 90.1.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Kim Corcoran, hoping you'll join me on Sunday afternoons for 2 on the Aisle, Broadway at its best. 2 hours of Broadway musicals. Classic shows like My Fair Lady and West Side Story. Classic composers like Rodgers and Hammerstein, Stephen Sondheim, and Lerner and Lowe. And all those fabulous performers like Ethel Merman, Carol Channing, Bernadette Peters. Well, we'll play them all. That's every Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. Hope you'll be there, because I'm saving you a seat here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by Summit Responsible Solutions, a manufacturer of organic, all-natural mosquito control products under the Mosquito Dunks brand name. Mosquito Dunks can be used in ponds, bird baths, rain barrels, or wherever water collects. Non-toxic to people, pets, fish, birds, and other wildlife, Mosquito Dunks are available at local and national garden centers everywhere. Information on how to control mosquitoes can be found at summitresponsibleSolutions.com.
Now you can explore Rochester and surrounding areas with a member card as your guide. When you make a gift of $90.10 or more, we'll send you a Jazz 90.1 member card. Then enjoy savings at hundreds of restaurants and attractions near you. So what are you waiting for? Call and become the newest member of Jazz 90.1 today. 966-5299 or online at jazz901.org.
Got a computer question? Text your question to the guys now on our new text line, 205-8887. That's 205-8887.
Welcome back to America's longest-running computer show, Sound Bytes, on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Get online now. Call 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll-free 800-790-0415. Or submit your question by email at soundbytes.org. Once again, here's Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And it's 6 minutes after the hour. We're going to be bringing you a whole nother hour of the longest-running computer show in the known universe. It's Sound Bytes. It's member-supported Jazz 90.1.
All right, I'll get you in trouble.
Uh-oh, here we go.
So, talk about our favorite topic lately.
Oh, wait, let me remind everybody about the lounge, because it's the second hour, and we've got new people coming in before I delete the message. Don't forget that tomorrow night at 9 p.m. we'll have the Soundbites Lounge. Go to soundbites.org/lounge, and you will be allowed to join and play. We will do video or audio or just sit and lurk. It's fine. We spend an hour. You can ask any computer question you want. We may even answer it, and we talk about movies and television and whatever we feel like. But thanks. Dave has a story before we get back to the phones.
Let me get positioned here. Okay. One, I know...
This is a good time to go use the bathroom, folks. Sorry, go ahead.
No, there's been a number of hams out there that have listened to our show regularly because, believe it or not, we all use computers in all facets of our jobs, whether it's hobbies or whatever. And I had a couple folks asking, well, what about, running different programs that we would use with ham radio? Well, it so happens this guy came out and for programs where you can do an install on a Raspberry Pi. He recommends a 4, which we do here at our show too, because right now, for the most part, that's the best buy out there. You get a Raspberry Pi, say even a 4 gig. You can go 8 gig if you want to go a little bit bigger. I always recommend going to 8 because there's always the thing of it is right now everything is still evolving. So even though you might not be using it to its full potential now, it wouldn't be too far down the line that would take it full advantage of the 8 gig or 8 meg. But what he came up with is a program called Build a Pi. And this is for ham radio operators. And he has done this great video on installing and setting up a Raspberry Pi with all the various programs that ham radio operators would use and others. He just doesn't limit it to that. There's other aspects to that that could be very useful and a lot of fun. And again, it doesn't take a lot. A simple little Raspberry Pi. And he runs you through on formatting the disk, setting it up, and selecting various programs. He gives you menus that you can install and add on down the road. If you, I want this one. Well, he tells you how to go back in and do that.
Do you remember the name or the YouTube channel? I found KM4ACK.
Yep, that's him.
It?
That's him.
That's probably his ham number too.
Yeah, that's his call sign. And again, he offers a lot of great utilities out there, so that's just another one to check out. And you've also heard me talk about Twister. Twister has just now done another update, and they've added more features and programs that will run. Say you like to also do gaming. They've changed some of the code and that and made it so some of the games, if you hook your Raspberry Pi up to a monitor, you can run some of these games now. So that's why I say it's constantly evolving. And it's something that you can get into for very little cost. We're talking about what's that one package? What is it? About $120 maybe?
For which one?
For the Raspberry Pi 4 or 8. The Raspberry Pi 4 with 8 gig of memory, I think is around $120, and it comes with also some of the packages come with like a 32 gig micro SD card.
Right. If you want the starter kit, which includes pretty much everything you would need, including the power supply and kind of everything else. If you want the 8 gig model with a 32 gig SSD card, it's $120.
Yep. Yeah. And one other thing, though, when you're getting your kits, folks, what I recommend is getting the kit that has the on-off switch. So you're not constantly unplugging and unplugging it, because that's a small micro connection for hooking up the power and all that. So it just makes it easier. It's just a little inline switch that you hit the button, turns your Raspberry Pi off and on when you need it. So you're getting closer to the 400?
Yeah, I discovered yesterday that there's a keyboard switch. Function F10 powers it on and off.
Okay.
So you don't even need to buy that external little switch.
Well, no, that will shut it down, but it doesn't turn it off.
Yeah, it does. It's power on, power off.
Oh, because on the Raspberry, on my Pi, it doesn't do that.
This is the 400.
The 400? Oh,
say,
yeah, the
they
400.
Say that's what it does.
I'm talking about the 4.
Right.
I didn't go for the 400.
Yeah.
I only got the 4.
I'm looking at
I'm waiting for the 5.
Yeah.
I have a 1.
Yeah.
Or maybe a 0. No, there was a 0.
Yeah, there's a Pi 0.
I think it's the unnumbered one.
They have 3
that was
zeros.
Before 0, right?
Yeah, right.
The Pi 0 is still very popular because that thing is long and narrow.
It's super teeny, and it's used a lot for hobbyists who want to build their own stuff.
Yeah.
There's a 0, there's a 0W, which has Wi-Fi, and there's a 0WH, and that has, I think, Bluetooth. I don't remember what the H stands for. It doesn't stand for anything. It's just
just a different model number.
It's not a mnemonic, but I've been looking at the Pi 400. Of course, comes in a keyboard. The thing about a Raspberry Pi, except the 400, is that you have to make sure you got all the pieces and parts, because if you just buy the Pi, it doesn't come with a power supply, it doesn't come with a case, it doesn't come with any of that stuff.
That's why it's better to buy the kit.
Right. So if you buy the kit, you get all of that, but they still have to put it together, which is fun for a lot of people.
And
but for some people,
it's not a lot of hard building.
Even
folks.
I can build it.
Yeah.
So, but for people who don't even want to do that,
folks, wait a minute. I got to interrupt you for a minute. See, you got to realize when even Nick says even he can build it.
Yeah.
He was over to my shop years ago, or I'd go over to his house and work on his computer. He'd start breaking out a sweat when I pulled out the screwdriver just to take the side off the side of the case.
Yeah. I told you, this is a childhood trauma. My father was working on a circuit that he thought he had turned off, a household circuit. He thought he had turned off, and it blew him across the room.
You hit that capacitors, yeah.
And I do not want to ever put my hand on.
I've done that. Matter of fact, Dan was in my partner was in the shop when we took this one case off, and I hit a capacitor, and that made me fly back against the shop wall. Sat down and, you all right? Yeah, I just need to sit here and rest for a little bit.
Yeah. But so I don't do that. But for the Raspberry Pi 400, it's already in a keyboard. It comes with a keyboard. It comes with a mouse. It comes with all the cables, including a power supply. So the only additional thing you need to have is a monitor. And most of us have a TV with a USB port on it. You're done. And so that's easy to do. Listen, we've had James waiting on the line for a while. I apologize, James. What's up?
Oh, yeah, I have a question for you. How often should I run the CCleaner?
That's a very good question. It's
how much are you putting on and off the machine?
Yeah.
Well, I have a new Dell G7, and I was curious, once I start using it, how often...
Well, the one thing I would definitely... One of the other things that you should have on that brand new machine is a product like Revo Uninstaller.
Yeah, I'm going to put that on.
Revo Uninstaller does an excellent job of cleaning up all the crud that's left from, when you install and uninstall programs. because it goes in and gets rid of the stuff in the registry, and that's basically what CC Cleaner's doing. It's going in there and cleaning up other crud that's left behind, because Windows is so lazy. When you uninstall something, you use their program to uninstall, all it does is turn the bit off. So it's there for future use. It doesn't make it any slimmer or trimmer, because that registry, every time you keep adding and removing stuff keeps getting added and nothing removed if you're using the Windows part. But if you use the Revo uninstaller, that will go in and pull that stuff out and eliminate it, keeping it nice and slim and trim and running more efficiently.
And then you may not accumulate any junk, so that CCleaner doesn't need to be run that often.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I also like to not remove my passwords and logins. What is that, with the cookies or something?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like we said, if you are storing them in the autofill part of your browser, then that doesn't involve the cookies.
Oh, so they'll stay there.
Right.
The logins and the passwords I like to keep.
Right.
So I don't have to keep entering it. One other thing on the new Windows that I have. And I used to have the old Windows 7 where you can right-click and you can send the whole page email. I don't see that anymore. And when I right-click, how would I send a whole page email like to a friend of mine?
The easiest way to do that, well, you can always just copy and paste the URL itself.
It's from a website?
Yeah, like if your whole front page.
And what browser are you using?
Chrome.
Okay, so if you click in the address bar, you should see on the right of the address bar some little icons. The first one is called, looks like a little computer, and it's called Send This Page. And you can send it to your phone or your Chromebook or your tablet.
I see a send to Samsung phone.
Yeah, that would be to your phone. The other thing you can do is
there should be a send link via email.
Yeah, you can create a QR code for a page, and then send them the QR code.
Yeah, I was looking for in the old Windows 7. It would say send via email. That's not. We don't have that anymore.
You have to load an extension back into Chrome for that.
Right.
Oh, what is the extension? Do you know?
It's one of them I just found was called Send Via Email.
Oh, that's where in the Chrome store or something.
Yeah.
Oh, so I have to make a new extension on that.
Well, you would just add it.
Install it. Yeah, it'll add it in.
Oh, all right. That's what I would like. One other thing. On the Echo Dot, you have to have Mozilla Firefox to use that?
No, the Echo Dot is its own little device. It just sits there, and you use it by speaking to it.
Oh, I thought I had to have that. Didn't work with Chrome.
No, it works with everything. You can use there is a phone app to help set it up and stuff like that, but once it's set up, you simply say the trigger name, which I won't say on the air because so many people will suddenly have their devices pop off. But you say the trigger name, and then what do you want it to do? Like, what's the temperature, or whatever it is, and that's how you interact with it by voice.
Oh, because I had called Amazon and they said I needed Mozilla Firefox to set it up. I don't know.
No, you need a browser if you're going to set it up via their online setup.
I think it requires an app on your smart device first.
You should have an app on your smart device that actually does it. You download the
A-word app.
A-word app, the Alaska app.
ALEXA.
Right.
Yeah.
And
the trick is it's not the Amazon shopping app, it's the ALEXA app.
Right.
And then that app will have the Echo join your network, and then once it's on the network, you can use a browser to add skills and settings to it.
Right, but it doesn't
But
have
you can
to
also
be
do that
Firefox.
in the app.
It can be any web browser.
Yeah, I use Chrome.
Yeah, that's fine. I do too.
Oh. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Yeah, the problem is, and I absolutely understand this when it's a layperson, but when it's a tech support person, they tend to use the name of the browser they like rather than use your browser.
Yeah.
So, I would say to somebody, well, you could just go into Chrome and they go, well, I don't have Chrome. Do I have to get it? No. I meant just go to your
just
browser.
use the browser of your choice.
Then I get what's a browser?
Right.
The
thing you use to get to the web.
Get to the web. Well, they don't know what the web is either.
They do. There aren't that many people.
Well, yeah, web. They don't. What's the web? You mean how I do a Google?
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you get to Google?
How you do a Google? Yeah. Okay.
That's right.
Some people can be dangerous.
What did Google reports their top search requests every now and then, and like the number one Google search is Yahoo.com.
Yep. I ran across, what do they call it? Insights. The Pornhub Insights.
I love that page.
There is a site called Pornhub, and you can figure out for yourself what it's about. But they have a Safe for Work page called Insights, and it tells you what people search for.
Based on their geographic region.
Time of day, time of year. The way I ran across it is what people searched for the day of the election. But it just reminded me that there is this page that exists.
And they do a year in review. That popped up on my Facebook feed. Somebody had posted a graph of the world on what the most popular kind of porn is, depending on your country and your region of the country.
Yeah. All right. You can, of course, give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5219. Wow, 5299. Wow. Apparently I'm new here. What is this?
It's only been 30 years.
Right. 585-966-5299. Or toll free at 1-800-790-0115.
It's almost half of our life.
Yeah, no kidding.
You start think about it, how old we are, how long we've been on radio. And that's almost half of our life.
Yep. Anyway, here's another news item. Microsoft, and of course, we already had one discussion about this today. But Microsoft rolled out Patch Tuesday updates for the month of July with fixes for a total of 117 security vulnerabilities, including 9 zero-day flaws, of which 4 are said to be under active attack in the wild, potentially enabling an adversary to take control of your entire system.
Which is the reason you really need to run the updates and then hope they don't crash your system.
Right. And hope you don't have Don's problem.
Yeah.
Of the 117 issues, 13 are rated critical, 103 are rated important, and only one measly one, is rated moderate in severity, with 6 of these bugs publicly known at the time of release. The updates span across several of Microsoft products, including Windows, Bing, Dynamics, Exchange Server, Office, Scripting Engine. Yes, you're running Scripting Engine. Windows DNS, yes, you're running that. And Visual Studio Code, and the reality is you're probably running that too. July also marks a dramatic jump in the volume of vulnerabilities, surpassing the number Microsoft collectively addressed as part of its update in May, which was a paltry 55, and June a measly 50. Now it's 117. 117.
And they want you to trust Windows 365.
Yes, they do.
Up on the cloud.
There's no comma in the number. One of these vulnerabilities, Print Nightmare, has also prompted the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, to release an emergency directive urging federal departments and agencies to apply the latest security updates immediately and disable the print spooler service on servers on Microsoft Active Directory domain controllers. Alongside Microsoft, patches have also been released by a number of other vendors to address several vulnerabilities, including Adobe, Android, Apache Tomcat, Cisco, Citrix, Linux distributions, SUSE, Oracle Linux, and Red Hat. Oh, actually, any of the Red Hat derivatives. SAP, Schneider Electric, Siemens, and VMware. So help patch through you. Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299, toll free, 1-800-790-0415. That's again something I truly love about my Chromebook. It tells me restart to finish your update, and that's all you have to do.
And no
it all
crashes.
happens in the background. I don't have to
no
worry about it.
spyware, no malware.
Yeah. But yes, and my Windows machine is close. Excuse me, my Linux machine is very close to that. I just get a notice that said you've got some updates, and then I decide when and if to install them, and then that mostly happens in the background. Only if it's updating the operating system itself do I have to reboot, and that's very, very rare. So if I update the kernel, God bless you folks who are so incredibly patient with Windows. I'm in awe of your ability to be that patient, because Lord knows I'm not.
We work with a medical office to do all their Macs, and they have another Windows company that does their PCs. Their X-ray machine has a Windows PC controlling it. And for some reason, it started running really, really slow. It took 10 minutes to do one X-ray, and you can't have that in a busy doctor's office.
Sure.
And so I suggested they turn off their third-party antivirus and just use the built-in Windows Defender and see what happens. Perfect. Fixed it. Great. The MSP said, "Well, you can't do that. You have to run this," and sent this big long article about Print Nightmare and how horrible this is. You have to run our third-party antivirus. Well, one, that has nothing to do with the problem you were having.
Yeah,
it's an X-ray machine that doesn't get on the internet. No one is ever web browsing on that machine.
Right.
And so you're just trying to scare them into buying some extra service from you?
Yeah.
Right.
All right, we got a minute here. Somebody put in here, you always mention things you could do with a Raspberry Pi, but never mention what operating system it uses. Yes, we did.
Yeah, there are a number of operating systems you can use. The official one is called the Raspberry Pi OS. It is a Linux derivative. Almost all of them are Linux derivatives.
Yeah, they're all Linux.
But there are a number of them. Dave likes Twister OS. You can run straight Ubuntu on the higher end machine.
Probably the short answer is it's not Mac and it's not Windows.
Right. But it is a Linux-based operating system, which means you have dozens of them available.
Just like Linux has the various flavors to run.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You just go there, and it will list all the different flavors that you can install and run. And there's quite a few YouTube videos out there that will describe the various features in some of these systems out. We've got a link to, I think it's called Leap SP Videos. Yeah. And he tests a number of the different operating systems. And that's why we say, go and check them out, because there is so many different options. Just like Unix or Linux, you can't say one particular flavor is going to fit everybody. There's different ones, and everybody tries a different one.
Right. So, and you don't have to stick with any one. We'll talk about that when we come back. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, and you. It's 29 minutes after the hour. It's Sound Bytes. It's member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbytes.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Add year-round interest to your landscape with oak leaf hydrangea. This is just one of the hydrangeas that inspired National Garden Bureau to name 2020 the Year of the Hydrangea. Hi, I'm Melinda Myers, horticulturist and gardening expert. This woodland species is native to southeastern United States and hardy in zones 5 to 9. White flowers appear in late spring or early summer, then turn purplish pink and eventually brown. The deep green oak leaf-shaped leaves turn shades of orange, red, and purple in the fall, and the cinnamon brown bark eventually exfoliates, adding winter interest. Grow oak leaf hydrangea in moist, rich, well-drained soil in sun or partial shade. Plants perform best with afternoon shade in warmer regions, and new plantings benefit from winter protection in Zone 5. Flower buds may be killed in cold winters, but the other features make it garden-worthy. Check out our website for this and other gardening tips. Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by Summit Responsible Solutions, a manufacturer of organic, all-natural mosquito control products under the Mosquito Dunks brand name. Mosquito dunks can be used in ponds, bird baths, rain barrels, or wherever water collects. Non-toxic to people, pets, fish, birds, and other wildlife, mosquito dunks are available at local and national garden centers everywhere. Information on how to control mosquitoes can be found at summitresponsiblesolutions.com.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by animal repellent Plant Skid. It's organic and safe for use on fruits and vegetable gardens, as well as trees, shrubs, and flowers. Plant Skid uses odors associated with predators, encouraging animals like deer, rabbits, bulls, elk, moose, chipmunks, and squirrels to dine elsewhere. Information on how to protect plants from animal damage can be found at plantskydd.com. That's plantskid.com. Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by Wild Valley Farms, which make organic, all-natural, sustainable wool pellets for the moisture-holding ability of soil. Wool pellets are made from 100% raw wool and can be added to the soil of indoor and outdoor plants for water retention. Wild Valley Farms wool pellets are available online at wildvalleyfarms.com. More information on the benefits and how to use wool pellets can be found at wildvalleyfarms.com. Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by animal repellent Plant Skid. It's organic and safe for use on fruits and vegetable gardens, as well as trees, shrubs, and flowers. Plant Skid uses odors associated with predators, encouraging animals like deer, rabbits, bulls, elk, moose, chipmunks, and squirrels to dine elsewhere. Information on how to protect plants from animal damage can be found at plantskydd.com. That's plantskid.com.
Jazz 90.1 weather.
Cloudy, cool, and clammy today into tonight with waves of showers and thunderstorms producing drenching rain and flooding in localized areas. The high today, 72. There'll be areas of fog into tonight, low 63. Tomorrow, morning cloud cover, fog, and a shower giving way to some sunshine. It's a warmer day, high 78. This is meteorologist Kevin Williams on Jazz 90.1.
And right now we've got a little fog out there with some rain, 66 degrees out at the airport, and 67 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, this is Phil Dodd. Please join me weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 33 minutes after the hour, we are Sound Bytes. To pick up on our last caller, there's Raspberry Pi OS, Ubuntu Mate, which is a version of Ubuntu with a very pretty front end, a lot of features, etc., etc. There's Real Ubuntu, or I guess vanilla Ubuntu, for Raspberry Pi specifically. The thing about a Raspberry Pi is that it uses a different processor from it doesn't use an Intel processor like Windows does. It doesn't use either Intel or the M1 chips, the M chip line, I guess now, like Apple does. It uses a different chipset. So you couldn't just grab a copy of Windows or a copy of a Mac OS and install it.
Throw it on there and have it work.
They have to reformat it specifically for that chip. What?
It is ARM-based, though, isn't it?
It is an ARM chip.
Yeah.
It's a Broadcom ARM chip. Yes.
Yeah.
But that means it's not going to.
It's like a car that has four wheels. Pretty much every car has four wheels.
Right.
But doesn't mean you can run the same parts on them.
Right. So they just need to compile the operating system for that thing. So Ubuntu has a version that will run on Macs. It has a version that will run on Windows machines. It has a version that will run on the Raspberry Pi. Yep. You just have to pick the right one. Twister OS, the one that Dave loves, it's the big thing about it. It has themes that make it look just like Windows or just like a Mac. Yep. And if you're one of those people who absolutely needs it to look like Windows, you can do that. There are a whole bunch of others that are available out there. The good news, of course, is that you can boot them right from that little micro SD card. So you buy 3 or 4 micro SD cards, put a different operating system on each one, which is easy to do with the installer, and try them all out and pick the one you like and keep that one and throw the rest reformat the rest of the
the Raspberry Pi Imager program has a utility that will even format your SD card for you. Then go out, install the various operating system that you want. It walks you through the different questions. Excuse me, whether you'll say you want 32-bit or 64-bit, and you're done. You don't have to be some big programmer or genius. I mean, there's plenty of YouTube videos out there, like I said, that you can go out and watch for a few minutes and have your Pi running that day, up, running, and play around with it. If you mess something up, oh, no big deal. You just reformat it, install it again, and pop it in.
Right. So all you do is go to raspberrypi.org/software. Real easy to remember that. And you can download the imager for Windows or the Mac or Ubuntu. So it's real easy to do. And quite literally, you just insert your brand new micro SD card into your computer, open up the imager. The only fiddly bit is make sure you pick the right device to install it on.
Yep.
So you gotta make sure that you've got the right device. But once you do that, as Dave said, it walks you through the process. What operating system are you using? Which type of that do you want? Boom, boom, boom. Hit the button, now you wait. Depending on how fast your machine is, you may wait a while. But when you're done, it says, okay, remove the disk. Click OK, you're finished. And you're literally done. It's just click, 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 you're done. And you can make as many different copies of that as you like because Linux is an open source operating system. You can give it to anybody. You can do whatever you want with it.
All right. We do have one question, and somebody wants to know, are ID surveillance companies like LifeLock any good or a waste of money?
Well, Consumer Report did an article recently.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, you can do all that yourself. Each one of your credit cards has identity theft protection on it. It can be a convenience to subscribe to LifeLock because they'll manage all your cards for you.
Assuming you trust LifeLock or whichever company.
Yeah. So is that worth the money they charge for your convenience of doing it? One of the biggest criticisms that LifeLock itself has gotten is the CEO has publicly said on, here's my social security number on all his commercials. Go ahead and hack me.
He put him on the side of a bus.
Yeah. And he's been hacked hundreds and hundreds of times. They never tell you that part.
Right.
So if you do have your identity stolen, they will help you clear up the mess.
Help you is the key word.
Yeah, they're not going to do it for you.
Yeah.
I personally don't think it's worth it, but that's
again, if you're using credit cards on the internet and you don't use a password protection program,
right?
Then yeah, you are going to, you're just keeping it to the simple 1, 2, 3, 4 as passwords. Yeah, you're probably going to get hacked.
And you may want to pick just one credit card that you use for all your internet stuff. So if that one card gets exploited, then it's a little bit easier than trying to remember what magazine subscriptions you have under this card and right. My water bill is under this other card. And
I use Google Pay, and I began using it for one simple reason. Both of the credit cards that I use, when you use them through Google Pay, create a one-time number.
Apple Pay does the same thing.
Apple Pay does the same thing. And so when I tap with my phone to pay for something, it is a unique number that is, the minute that credit goes through, that number is no longer valid. And so steal it. Go ahead, knock yourself out.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
I don't care, because unless you actually get your hands on my phone and also my fingerprint.
It's a bigger problem.
Well, I mean, you have to have my fingerprint too.
Yep.
You're not going to be able to do any of that stuff. So I prefer that method.
Some credit cards have that feature themselves, a one-time payment.
Talk to your bank.
But it's handy to use it on your phone while you're paying. And a lot of websites are now taking Google Pay and Apple Pay.
Right.
So right on the website, you can use that service. And then, it's a random credit card number generated for that one purchase only.
Right. So look into those. If you're not using an Android or iPhone, I don't know what you're using, but if you are using an Android phone or an iPhone, look into Google Pay or Apple Pay. I do not know if Samsung Pay does it too. I do not know that. But Apple Pay and Google Pay both provide that service. So my suggestion is wherever you can, pay with your phone.
Well, yeah, because I usually use the PayPal.
I do too.
And but I have another card for, say, some of the others that won't take the PayPal. And I've gone to battle with the bank a couple times because they want to up my limit.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, if you increase it, I'm canceling it. I do not want it above
X dollars.
Yeah, X dollars. That's it. I don't want to be responsible, and I don't want it to argue with you folks whether it was a valid purchase or something else. No.
Yeah.
So just leave it at that, or I'm canceling. Oh, no, no, we'll leave it alone.
Annoyingly, having credit you don't use helps your credit score.
Right.
Because your credit utilization is down.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Andy from Greece, New York. Hi, Andy. What's up?
Hi, guys. Quick question. Playing around with a laptop, I put Linux Mint on, and it's running version 19.3. Told it to do an update. It went out, updated, and I hadn't done it in a while. I updated all kinds of things, but it's left me at version 19.3.
Right.
And I've heard that 20.2 is out or whatever. Is there a special process you have to go through to go up through versions of? I mean,
yeah,
where you go out and say, "Give me the new version," and it does.
Yeah, the difference is, there. Okay, so the various different versions of Linux. 19 had what's called long-term support (LTS), and to upgrade from long-term support to not long-term support takes a little bit of a thing. So the way to upgrade to Linux Mint 20 is first, of course, as always, before you upgrade any operating system, you take a backup. Then you take a second backup. Then you verify those two backups. Then you turn off your screensaver because that's probably going to interrupt the upgrade process unless you have an insanely fast machine. And then if you're using Cinnamon and you installed any of their spices, applets, desktop themes, desklets, that stuff, you're going to want to upgrade them separately inside system settings. But then upgrading to Linux Mint 20.1 itself is actually pretty easy. Go to the Upgrade Manager, click the refresh button to check that everything is updated, right? Then launch the system upgrade by going to the Edit menu in the Update Manager and select Upgrade to Linux Mint 20.1 Ulissa or whatever version happens to be there. And then you follow the on-screen instructions. And you know, when you're done, you're done.
Okay. All right. So when you go to because I've gotten into the system manager, but I didn't see the edit, so I'll have to go to the edit thing and refresh it.
Yep, that's how it works. And again, the reason is upgrading inside a version 19.1 to 19.2, for example, is a minimum upgrade. Upgrading a major version number like 19 to 20 is something you really want to think about before you do and be prepared for with backups, et cetera, et cetera. That's why they don't do it automatically.
Okay.
Does it tell you there's an upgrade you could do?
Yeah, I don't know Mint, but I know a number of them do. Mine does. Mine will always say you also have a brand new version. Click here to do it. And I always don't.
Well, I had gone in and went to the Upgrade Manager and I just do an update. And I downloaded all kinds of things, but it left me at 19.3, so it must have been just updates to 19.3 that were made.
Right.
And I hadn't done that in a while, so it did a whole bunch of stuff. Took about half an hour. It wasn't bad. I don't have anything on the machine. I'm just using it strictly to play with Linux and figure out what it is and that kind of thing.
Right.
And so Steve had mentioned that 20.2 is now available. And I looked it up, and it was saying it's a long-term support version and so forth and so on. And
yeah, I much prefer long-term support versions.
Yeah, me too. But I looked at it and it said it was a long-term support, and I started clicking around, and I know very little about this as compared to what I've learned the hard way with Windows, and I'm learning the hard way with Linux.
It's the best way to learn.
Yeah, it's the only way I learn. Bang my head on the brick wall, and I'll figure it out eventually. But it's just there's subtleties that I'm missing here, so I'll figure it out eventually.
In the Update Manager under Edit, you also have Preferences, which lets you set certain things to update automatically, et cetera, et cetera. You can also take a system snapshot through there. You can also edit your software sources. Don't. And you can do that upgrade to the next not point level, but actual version level.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep exploring and learning, and
that's what it's for.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what it's for. There's nothing else on the box.
Right. There you go.
So I don't have to worry about losing anything if I screw up.
Right.
But I got to figure it out pretty soon because Windows is just starting to look really worse and worse.
Well, it's going to be costing you a lot more money.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna. I think my Chromebooks are fine, but my main computer's going to go to a Windows box. Away from a Windows box to Linux.
There you go.
My wife will stay Windows just because it is, and that's what it's going to be. But it'll be a lot less expensive just to do hers.
Yep. All right, thanks, Andy.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Bye-bye.
There was a question in the YouTube chat about why do computer experts downplay the Chromebooks, saying that they can't be used for serious work.
They're wrong. They do it for several reasons. One, they don't get spiffs for Chromebooks. That's the 1 and 2 and 3 reason.
Yeah.
A spiff is a kickback, frankly, that salespeople get when they sell you a computer. It used to be every computer had them. And you could tell who had spiffs, what spiffs were active today by going into the store and having them pitch a machine to you. Whatever machine they were pitching had a spiff. Mm-hmm. They got money. The actual salesperson got cash for making that sale. That's much less likely nowadays, but still, look, if I sell you a Chromebook, the likelihood that you will have to come back to me for support and service is
very slim,
very minimal.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, no computer salesperson makes money by selling a machine anymore. The margins are so narrow. They make money
just to keep enough money to keep the doors open.
Maybe. They make their money with support and service and peripherals. So if you love your vendor, buy stuff from them that isn't the computer. On top of more than just the computer. But they make money on service and support. So they're going to make almost no money in a Chromebook. They're not going to get service and support money from it. Why would they push it?
And a lot depends on what you mean by real work.
Right.
I'm writing a book. I'm editing some pictures. That's fine. If I'm doing 3D modeling of the next space shuttle, I probably won't use a Chromebook.
That's exactly right.
But when I'm storyboarding my design process, I might.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I'm writing another book, coincidentally called "Getting Started with the Raspberry Pi," and then now I just had a thought that I have to write one called "Moving from Windows to Linux," but I'm writing it on a Chromebook, and it is absolutely. It's not adequate. It's beyond adequate. It's absolutely perfect for that.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no problem with writing an entire book on a Chromebook. I surf the web. I listen to music. I do everything the average person has to do. I use Thunderbird. I use Chrome. I use various other programs that are Android apps as well as Linux apps as well as Chrome apps. There's quite literally nothing the average person. Again, as Steve said, if what you do is spend all day long editing YouTube videos, maybe you don't want a Chromebook.
Yeah.
If you edit, if you're trying to sort through your 100,000 rocket pictures, you don't want to use a Chromebook.
Although OpenRocket, I just read, will run on a Chromebook, so you can design your next rocket on a Chromebook.
Very nice, very nice. So yeah, you can run any one of these programs that the average person runs, or an equivalent, on a Chromebook. That's the issue there. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Joel from Pittsford, New York. Hi, Joel. What's up?
Hi, guys. Well, first of all, thank you all for your years of doing Sound Bites and all the help you've provided to so many people.
Thank you.
I am a member.
That's what I like to hear.
Yep. I have a question on a minor Chromebook annoyance.
Mm-hmm.
When I open a Chromebook and open Chrome, all of the tabs that I have preset in settings come up. If I close Chrome and open it again, I only get a single tab. Is there a way to get those presets to work when you close and reopen Chrome?
Why, yes. Yes, there is. The first thing you do... Oh, you want me to now tell you that? Well, okay, that's harder.
He wants everything.
Okay, so first you open up all the tabs you want to open every time. That's step one.
Yep.
Step two, in the upper right corner are those three dots.
Yep.
For the menu, click that menu and select Settings.
Now, I did mention that I've already done that, and those tabs open up when I open Chrome for the first time. It's after I close Chrome and open it again, those tabs do not come up.
The other thing is, if you scroll down there, one of the things you can do is there's a section called On Startup. It has three choices. One is, which I suspect you've already used, which is open a specific page or set of pages. And
right.
Under that, one of the choices is use current page. But just above that is another choice called continue where you left off.
And one of the differences between that is when you start up Chrome or when you make a new window in Chrome.
Right.
You can have different things happen.
Right.
Okay. I do not want to do that because I may have opened multiple tabs before closing down. I just want those same 6 tabs that I open every time, that works on my PC every time, to open in Chrome every time I open it.
And the way you do that is to say open a specific page or set of pages, and then the third choice down under that is use current pages. Since you've already opened all of them, they are the current set of pages. You click that and they will always open.
Okay, we'll take a look. Thank you.
Yep, thanks. Yeah, I do the same thing.
See, and I think
the other thing you can do, by the way, I'm sorry, let me just add this. You can create a folder in your bookmarks line.
Mm-hmm.
The bookmark, what do you call it? Not the line, the bookmarks taskbar.
Yeah.
The bookmarks bar. You can create a folder, and into that put all of those tabs. Just drag them off the address bar into that folder. Then you can right-click on that folder
and say start
and say open all, well, however many there are. And I have, for example, there's a bunch of comics online comics I like to read in the morning when I first get up. So I have those all in a folder. I click on that and it says, do you really want to open 40 tabs? And I say, yes, I do. And it opens them up and I read them and I close them and I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
But so that's just another little trick that you can perform with your Chromebook.
And
with any web browser.
Yeah. And I think the
is it right click or middle click? Now I don't remember. Try them both.
I think one of the things the caller was questioning was there are different settings for when you start Chrome versus when Chrome is already running and you just make a new tab. And
well, I don't think he wants to make a new tab because he's already got tab.
Well, right, but when you start Chrome, everything is opening the way you want it to.
Right.
If
he closes it
closes
down,
the lid and opens it up again, Chrome is already running.
So it should be the same.
I thought he said when he closed...
It's not starting up again. Chrome is already started. That's the new tab setting.
Oh, see, I thought he said that once he closes it down, he's in there working on it, and all of a sudden he closes the browser down, and then he goes to reopen it up. It only opens up the one page.
I think he said close the lid.
Oh, so see, that's what I didn't understand.
He's putting basically
in
putting
sleep
it to
mode?
sleep, And when he opens it back up,
Right.
Chrome is still running, so the on startup doesn't happen.
Right. He would have to close the actual tab and then pick Chrome off the bar at the bottom.
To launch Chrome again, right. Or there's another setting called the new tab page. So when you make a new tab, all of the tabs you want to open come back.
Or like you said, create that folder that you
bookmark
just
link.
right-click on it and it reopens.
Yeah, but it doesn't replace what's already there. So
Right.
for him, the easiest thing to do would be to use the X in the upper right of Chrome.
Quit and relaunch Chrome.
browser.
And then the
Close
startup
it,
happens again.
Start it up, and that's when startup happens again, and it
Yeah.
all works. So yeah, you can close the Chrome browser. That's allowed in Chrome.
Yep.
And just you're looking at a blank desktop, and then when you click it open again off the bar on the bottom, then you have it available to you right there.
Safari has 3 options. When Safari opens, when a window opens, and when a tab opens. Because that's 3 separate events. So you can have, when I make a new tab, I get this thing. When I make a new window, I get these other things.
Right. All right. So, look, we don't have a lot of time left to talk about it, but I personally have to say that I will be very interested in testing out Windows 365. I really will. It'll be interesting to see how well it runs, what you can do with it. I think Steve is absolutely right. It's going to be bare bones window. You're not going to get Office. You're not going to get any other program.
Those will be extra.
Right. And I suspect that Windows will at some point be asked by many other companies to play cop and prevent you from bootlegging software. I don't know how they would do that, frankly, but I'm sure that somebody will try to get Microsoft to do that. At that point, what differentiates it from a Chromebook? Just the operating system you're running, and the cost, and the cost.
It's going to be like a dumb terminal.
Yeah, it's basically going to be if we did that at RIT a lot. We had virtual desktops that people could run, and they work great when you have a good network connection. The people who are running a low-end connection are absolutely going to hate Windows 365. They are going to detest it because it is going to be so dog slow. But the rest of them, I have to say, will have to make the decision for themselves. There's just no easy way at this point to know what you're going to end up with when you actually run the product on your machine with your internet connection and the programs that you'll have to rebuy to run on it. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of that. I'm looking forward to it, but kind of the way you look forward to a root canal. When it's over, it's good.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. We are done for another week. I want to thank everybody who called in. Nice discussions this week. I want to thank Dave Enright. I want to thank Steve Ray, particularly for that great key lime donut. That was amazing. I'm Nick Francesco. That's it for this week. Please pay attention to your updates. Make sure you've got good backups before you do any of that stuff. Please do your backups. Today's a great day to do backups. Look at the weather out there. Go do your backups today. And we are done for another week. Be good to one another, will you? We will see you. I'm ending early, and I'm sorry. We will see you in just 166 hours. Thanks.
Here's another New York travel tip.
A great New York State tradition is getting underway right now in Saratoga Springs with